Are we recording? Yes, we are. Okay. Hello, my name is Santana Huang, and today we are going to be modeling part A-2 for mechanical engineering and design for UCR's course for 2025. This is going to be for CAD assignment 8. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sketch out this base. So you're going to click on rectangle and you're going to go to your top plane right here. And you're just going to draw the rectangle right here and make sure that your units are in millimeters. So let me redo the sketch again just to make sure this is in millimeters. Always remember that you gotta punch in your units first. So you're gonna click on rectangle, you're gonna drag that out, and then you want to click on smart dimension, not another rectangle. You're gonna click on this edge here and you're gonna punch in 30. And then you're gonna click on your opposite end or your adjacent end, and you're gonna punch in 60. There you go. And now you can exit your sketch, and then now you can go to features and extruded boss base. Extrude this up to 7 millimeters. So you can just punch in 7, hit enter, and it will automatically apply it for you. So now the angled parts are pretty difficult. Just follow with me here step by step. So what you're going to do is that you are going to click on this side plane right here. Then you are going to hit sketch, then click on line. You are going to start from the bottom over here and just have it at some kind of angle. Make sure this is perpendicular, otherwise it's not going to end well for you. You're going to click on here, and then just for simplicity and for just making my life a little easier, just have another line on the bottom. It'll make it way much easier when you're extruding everything. So now you're going to click on the back, and you are going to punch and make sure that your dimensions are not at an angle. You want it parallel to the line here. You see right here and right here. It's a big difference, so make sure that it is adjacent. So make sure it is parallel to your line that you did. And now for this, you are going to punch in 8. Now why am I punching in 8 here? Well, for the final shape, it's gonna have a height of 34, and the arc that's gonna have is gonna measure to 26. So taking that difference into mind, you're just going to do the math. 34 minus 26, that's just going to give you 8. Now for this part right here, you're going to drag that up and make sure it's also parallel with the line that you just drew, and you are going to punch in 30. Now for the angle, you're going to click on this end here, and then click on the horizontal end over here. And that is not correct. That should be a, why is there a point here? You are going to click on this flat end right here, make sure it's not a point. And you are also going to click on the flat plane, and that will pop out the dimension for you. And you're going to punch in 120 degrees. Bang. Just like that. And then now you can exit your sketch. Click on your sketch, and then click on extruded boss base. Then you can just go to your isometric view, press Ctrl 7 just to make your life a little easier. Or you can use your middle mouse to drag it. Any way works. So make sure it's on blind, and you are going to set this to 30. And then now you can press the check mark, and there is your angled, and there's your angled side. Now we are going to go over the arcs. Now the way I do it is a little weird, but just hear me out on this, okay? So the dimensions for the arc, for how tall the arc is actually starting from the back. So that's where I'm going to go. You want to go to your back, and you're going to click on this little surface right here. Then you can click on sketch. Now what I'm going to do is a little bit unorthodox, but it's just math. I'll show you. So you want to click on this point here. Make sure it is on the bottom of this little corner right here. So now you're just going to extrude that up, and I just realized I screwed up this entire view, but I think that doesn't matter. And then you are going to do this again for the other side. Make sure it's straight. And just to make our lives a little easier, I'm going to click on this line, hold Control, and you're also going to hold on this line and click on Control. Make sure they're parallel and also they are equal and vertical, just to make sure that you're not screwing everything up. Now you're going to click on Sketch Dimension or Smart Dimension. You're going to click on one of your lines here, and since they're equal, this will happen to both. And then now you are going to press 19. I'll explain why later. So now you can click on that, and then you can add in your arc. So make sure that you are on arc, press tangent arc, and then sketch from this endpoint to the other. Now you can, and then just to make our lives a little easier, we're going to have a little line over here just to close off that entire space, which will help in extruding. Now, why am I doing this? Well, as you can see, this arc right here has a radius of 15 on the dot. Now why is that important? Well, the entire width of the shape is 30. So that means that the diameter of the circle is also going to be 30. So if you just do some math, the radius will be 15. Now, if the radius is 15 from your properties of circles, so that means that the height from the flat line to the top is 15, and the total is going to be like the total height from the top of this arc to the bottom of this from the bottom over here, that's 34. That is exactly what we are looking for on the shape. And so if you just do the math, 34 minus 15, that will give you 19. So that's why I did it that way. You may do it differently, but overall, like what I do is just much easier because how the sketch is done. So now you can click on that sketch, go to Features, Extruded Boss Base, and then make sure you have it to 30 and make sure it's actually the right direction. And so you can punch in 30 right here, click on the check mark, and boom, and make sure this surface is flat. You can see that there's no line from when we previously sketched. That means that this surface is completely flat, which is exactly what we need for this next bit. So you're going to click on this little front plane here, go to Sketch, and then click on Circle. It's much easier if you put a circle like right here. Make sure it's center. So now you want to go and find the center of your arc right here. Click on the center, drag that out, and now you can punch in your diameter. Drag that out with your Smart Dimension and punch in 12. Click on your check mark and click on Exit Sketch. Then you can click on your sketch and go to Extruded Cut. Since this is already the circle is already through here, so now you can just have a through all, and that will make the hole a little bit easier, right? Now on the side profile, there's actually a cut between these two, between the end of this hole right here and this one right here. You don't actually want to do the two arcs separately. That's why. So now what we're going to do, instead of cutting it from the surface, we are going to cut from the front plane. So, and then you're going to go to Sketch, click on Line. Make sure your line is parallel with the surface that we just extruded. So you're going to click on here, and then here, and then where is that? Right here. You just got to make sure everything is perfectly 90 degrees, right? Click on check mark, and then you can click on this dimension, drag that out, make sure it's parallel. It is going to bite you, so make sure that's parallel. You're going to punch in 26 right here, and the distance from this end to the rectangle, this is here as well, is going to be 7. So you want to punch in from here to here. That should be 7. And this should also be 7. So like there is another way to do this. If you know that the thickness of these two is going to be 7, so then you can add these two together. That's 14, and the entire distance is 30. So you can just do some fancy math and that will give you 16, right? But in this case, it doesn't really matter. We're following it by the book. And make sure that your dimension is parallel. If it's not, then you're going to be in a lot of trouble. So just a heads up. So now throughout this entire recording, I have always been clicking exit sketch, but you can always press, while you're still in sketch mode, you can always go to features and just press extruded cut. And that will exit automatically, and you can already see that the sketch has already been selected. And so now that it's being cut from the middle, or at least close to it, you can do click through all. And so now that goes to the whole shape. You can click on the check mark, and boom, there is your shape right here. And let's get through the final steps. So now we are going to, if I can find it, this top plane over here, you're going to click on that, and you're going to press sketch, and you are going to make your line. I did not press rectangle. I'll show you why. So you're going to do here, 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 like a rough sketch, right? Just a rough sketch rectangle, and then you can actually delete this line right here because we are not working with a rectangle, we are working with a rectangle and a arc. So you're going to click on, not center point arc, that's a little bit too tedious. You're going to click on tangent arc, click on these 2 points, you can just rotate it like so. So now the radius of this entire thing is going to be 4. So that means that the distance from here, from these 2 lines are going to be 8. Punch that in. So you're going to click on 8, and that will automatically set the radius to 4. You could do it the other way around. It doesn't really matter. And then you can you can put the distance between these 2 lines over here. So now if we do some math, we have 8 in the middle, so that's 8 minus 30. That's 8 minus 30. That is going to give you 22. So you just divide 22 by 2, and that should give you 11 if my math is mathing. So you're going to click on this point here, click on another one at this point here, and no, don't do that. You're going to click on this line here, and then also click on this line here, and that is not supposed to be there. Get out. So you have smart dimension clicked. So you're going to click on this line here, and then also this line here, and what the heck? What the hell? Stop it. This line here, and then this line here, it should be 11. So now these 2 are equal. Alright, so now you can go to extruded cut, and you can just you don't have to do through all both. That's a bit overkill. You just only do it, say, through all. So you can click on check, and our hole has been created. Now our fillets are just going to be, and then the rest is just filleting everything out, right? So you can just click on fillet, and then you could click on this line over here, this line over here, and this line over here. The radius of these fillets are going to be 5. No. Don't do that. Sorry. Fillet. Only this line right here is going to have a radius of a 5 fillet. So you just want to punch in 5 right here. You can click on the view to change that. You can click on that, and then our corners right here have a fillet radius of 7. So you can just punch that in, no problem. Here we go. And there is our part completed. So now for your assignment right here, you can go click on edit material, and the material that is required for this part should be 6061 T6 aluminum alloys. So you're going to click on apply, then you can close that. And, well, because of my computer's crappy quality, there's no, you can't really see it, but things did indeed change. Now you can click on evaluate and go to mass properties. Now you can find your mass, your volume, and your mass, your surface area, and your center of mass. Speaking of center of mass, just to make your based on the instructions, you're going to click on reference geometry and click on coordinate system. Now the instruction said to put the coordinate system at the lower rear corner. So basically, right here in this little corner here, you're going to click on this little point, and the axis and the coordinate system will already be in place. So now you can click on your check mark, go to isometric view or Control 7, click on mass properties and evaluate, and you can find your mass, your surface area, and your center of mass. And in this case, my mass is 74.27 grams. So I'm going to write that down somewhere so I can put in the assignment. So 74.27. Our surface area is 9139.59. And then our center of mass is negative 0.66. Y coordinate is 12.03, and then our Z coordinate is negative 6.86. So now we can click out of that, go to Insert, go to here, press Annotations, click on Note, and then you can just put your name in here, right? So you have your name, your your class, your assignment, and then your mass. For my example, it will be 74.27 grams. Make sure you have your units. You don't want to lose any points for units. And then your surface area. No, not surface area. Volume. Your volume should be 9139.59, and then your center of mass, XYZ coordinates. Excuse me. So it's negative 66, 12.03, negative 686, and then you can click out of that, and your assignment is done. Let me check if my volume is actually correct. No, I pressed in the surface area on accident, so this should be 27,508.64 cubic millimeters. So I'm gonna press that in there because I don't want any lost points. 27,508.64 millimeters cubed. And there we go. It is done. So I hope that this tutorial helped you in your assignment. Hopefully that you will get a good grade. And thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.